All right, welcome back to another episode of Spectator Mode. I'm your co-host, Neil Strebig. With me, as always, is Donald Double
Mm.
D DeCray. You have to excuse Double D for chuckling here.
I
You just
am,
missed his
yeah.
impersonation of my intro.
It's true. Sorry. Yeah.
You make me sound like Gabagool. Here we are, bada bing, bada boom, huh?
I mean, are you not Italian? Is this not what you do?
Yeah, I'm a walking stereotype. All right, I mean,
Oh my God. I
I get to eat
mean,
a pound of prosciutto before we recorded, so extra greasy.
oh my, oh my. I didn't say it for the record. This was not the words out of my mouth. I just want to be clear to anyone joining. None of this was said previous to the recording, but yeah, what do we have today? Tell me something good.
No, we got a doozy. We got five today. It's not going to full six, but I think we got. I don't know. I'm excited. I think we got a nice blend. We're going to talk a little bit about Bendergate, Futurama coming back, and also the Joe DiMaggio dilemma there, or drama, however you want to put it.
John DiMaggio.
We're talking about Indiana Jones 5, which I don't know if some listeners might not even know who Indiana Jones is, so that'll be new for them. The rest of us, we get halfway through the second trilogy, right? We're going to talk a little bit change of AMC with the Batman coming out this weekend. Some concerns over ticket pricing. I mean, what are they doing? A little Overwatch 2 news as well. Frustrations over where is the beta, where is the game. And then, of course, we're going to keep it going with the new Pokemon Generation 9, the announcement of Scarlet and Violet. Very excited about that one. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Futurama final season coming to Hulu sometime next year. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be what, 20 some episodes?
20 episodes exactly is what they're calling for right now.
Okay. And then again on Hulu, but the big holdup was Joe DiMaggio, who voices Bender, is quite frankly a catalyst for the show and the cast. Originally wasn't on board, got a bunch of feedback on Twitter, resulting in, of course, hashtag Bendergate. He is now on board. Everyone's happy. But again, it's kind of what's your reactions to Futurama and what's your reactions to the whole end of Bendergate?
I mean, two things jump out to me. The first one is they're only, I mean, they are signed for 20 episodes. This is not the first time they have gone away and come back, right? Like the show originally aired. I forget what the first network was before it was
Fox. It was like, it had to be
Was
like
it really Fox
90s,
originally?
90s, yeah, 97, 90, 98. And
Yeah.
I was third or fourth grade, I think. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah. And so then it got picked
Yeah.
up at Comedy Central and they were airing reruns, and that led to them commissioning a new set of seasons that ran for an additional, what, 3 seasons, 3 seasons or something on Comedy Central. And now we're back
At least,
again
yeah.
with this on Hulu. So I don't know if it's going to be one season, if it's going to be more. Could be. I don't know. I would hope for more. I do enjoy the stories. I do feel like Matt Groening's, some of his art style and stuff is played out, because not only does he have this, he's obviously creator of Simpsons, and he's got have you seen Enchanted on Netflix? Is
Oh
very
yeah, I
much
actually love it. Yeah, I think Enchanted's awesome.
it's very much in this
Dis-
theme
what
of
is it?
thing.
Is it Enchanted or Disenchanted?
Disenchanted, that's what it is. You're right.
Yeah.
Disenchanted. Yeah, because it's dystopian basically. But for anyone who doesn't know, the whole thing with John DiMaggio was contract negotiations. He wanted more money.
I said Joe DiMaggio.
You did. Yeah.
I said Joe DiMaggio like 3 times.
I tried correcting
Like this
you.
voice actor has the all-time hitting streak.
You know what? I'm gonna let you take the heat
I'm
for
not
that
even
one.
gonna cut it out. I'm just gonna
You're just gonna live with it?
there. Let me suffer and burn like the schmuck I am.
Yeah, John DiMaggio wanted more money, and the thing that I cannot find, and I have scoured the internet, is if he ended up getting more money or if he got on board because of pressure to be there. Basically, like fans obviously wanted him back, crew wanted him back, but his whole thing was like, hey, obviously this is a franchise that people want and there's a lot of support for. Pay us more money, like we deserve it. And I have no idea if he actually ended up getting that money or why he ended up agreeing. He just did?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you find
Yeah.
anything?
No, it didn't seem like there was any confirmation on everybody got paid the same salary, because it did seem like he was trying to do what Robert Downey did with the MCU, and he did get a lot of support. I mean, Tara Strong, notable voice actress; Mark Hamill, of course, very notable voice actor. They all were like, yeah, he's on the right call here, but no word on if they actually bumped up everybody's or it was, hey, he got what he wanted. I don't know. I'm a bit tongue in cheek with this because I'm excited about Futurama coming back. Sure, love the show. I like The Simpsons, of course. Disenchantment. I think the final season, the last one was, I thought it went in a great direction. I did not expect. Really enjoying that. I think Futurama had a lot more depth than The Simpsons at a certain point as far as pulling your heartstrings. And I think Disenchantment's getting to that point too now. So I'm excited to see what they do with it, but I also could have been fine without Futurama ever coming back. So I didn't get butthurt that it was like a Bendergate and he wasn't going to be on board because it's like I enjoyed where the show left
Had
off and where
closure
it
on
went.
it
So
already, right? Like,
yeah, so
and I
anything
agree.
extra is kind of like that's a bonus, but I'm not going to toss and turn if it if it's not the
I think
same
they
product as
literally
before.
had like them riding off in the sunset at the final episode of the final season. So like it was a closed story. I don't know if it needed more. Not that I'm not upset that it's back, but like I think it could have been left where it was. So speaking of leaving franchises where they were and ending them when they probably should have, Indiana Jones 5 has finally wrapped on filming. So I think we obviously remember the first three Indiana films, the hit that they were. And then there was the fourth film starring Shia LaBeouf, who was clearly meant to sort of take over and headline the franchise, right? He was Indy's kid, and this is like going to be his thing. This is going to be Harrison Ford's last Indiana Jones movie. Like, no questions asked. Like, the man's 80, turning 81. I do not imagine him doing another film in the franchise at this point. So either they're going to bring everything to a firm close, shut the door on this franchise, and do a complete clean reboot in the future, or they're going to somehow try to do some transition of leads. So what do you think? Do you think they're going to actually like end the franchise, or do you think, like you said, this is
I mean,
part two of a trilogy?
I think they should. I wonder if it took so long just because Harrison Ford is essentially, decrepit at this stage, just age wise. And to do an action movie, it's kind of like, is he going to come out like, in a wheelchair and fly off a track? I don't know. It's just, at a certain point, it's like you talked about last week, milking a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
What is left with Indiana Jones that Harrison Ford at this stage? And you didn't do it right with the Crystal Skull with Shia LaBeouf, even though I didn't necessarily mind his casting. It's just like let it go. But we don't need another Indiana Jones. You want to make a reboot with it. You have the Uncharted movies. It kind of fits that same itch.
It
Or
really
just make
does.
something new. You know what I mean? Because what are you gonna do? Hand it off to Phoebe Waller-Bridges, and then it's like, okay, she's more of like a comic, so you're gonna take like a comedic action turn if she's at the new lead. Who else is in the cast? Antonio
Matt,
Banderas. So it's
yeah.
also too. We have another geriatric on there. That's interesting. I enjoyed him in the Expendables, which was a throwback to all my favorite action heroes. But that was also like 6 years ago too, and he was like 70 then. So I don't know. I'm not really excited about Indiana Jones 5. I feel like it's kind of a direct to DVD movie for me at this stage. Catch it one night when I can't fall asleep and be like, huh, it had some interesting parts to it, and let's let it go there.
Yeah, I mean this is, I'm concerned. What was De Niro's most recent film? You know what I'm talking about? The
Oh
one that
Christ.
he did, I think it released on Netflix. Ah, crap. This name is really eluding me right
You're talking about
now.
the one with Al Pacino when he's the
Yes.
cleaner.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
god, what was that called? Painting walls.
God, and
Oh
what
my
I don't know
god.
why I can't think of this, right?
The
Because
Irishman.
The
The
Irishman,
Irishman.
thank you. Thank you, God Almighty, thank you, because this would have driven me so insane. But the issue with The
Yeah.
Irishman, one of the issues at least, because I think there are many, was essentially they had De Niro, who is a geriatric, right? Like he's older, absolutely. I'm trying to look up his exact age right now. But then they cast him and he has to play this young man aging through the role. And so like you see him in like physical scenes where he's like beating people up, being tough and like kicking them and stuff. And they didn't use a body double. It was just him.
Yeah.
And it looks bad. It looks like this old man like trying to be, and it's like there's no way you can sell me on the physicality of this. It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
I will say Irishman's a little bit different because he's basically just playing a hitman. So it's like you walk up, pop, hit somebody in the car, pop him in the jaw, beat the crap out of the lead pipe. There's not as much
No, well, there's
running
the one
train to
scene where he like
train
throws the
Indiana
guy out in the
Jones
street and
style.
like curb stomps him. Do you know what I'm talking about?
So yeah, but I mean, an 80-year-old man could still curb stomp somebody. I'm not
Like
going to knock
watch
that.
this
I
scene.
mean,
Watch
that's
this scene and tell me that it looks like he could have done that, because like the guy he's fighting is supposed to be this rough and tough fellow,
no,
clearly
I
younger.
think
The
With
physicality
a
wasn't there. It's
mobster movie
terrible.
like that, you could get away with it because the action
Ugh.
sequences aren't car chases and they're not in depth like fisticuffs. It's usually walking up behind somebody, capping them, or like it's a bit more of a chess match of how you're
Look, I
whacking
don't know if I
somebody.
agree with the defense of the Irishman, but at the same time, this is only making me feel more concerned about Indiana Jones because of what you're talking about. Like the character, Indy, the adventures he gets into and stuff, like it's a whole lot more involved in the stuff that we're talking about in the Irishman and the stunts. Like, I can't imagine how many of these must have been done just by stunt doubles and stuff like that. That is how much of the performance is really going to be Ford and how much of it's really going to be somebody else. Like at what point is who's the character then? You know what I mean? Like, or should we be
Yeah.
crediting somebody else as playing Harrison Ford or as it playing Indiana Jones rather? Because like Ford's there for the FaceTime only. Concerns on both sides here. I think if we're on the same page with that, then I think it's a fair assessment of things. And so talking about concerns and movies, AMC is going to be debuting a new pricing plan in the US where they will introduce variable pricing for the Batman movie, which is releasing this weekend, I assume, when this episode actually gets posted. So this will be a first in US theaters. I guess this is something which is done currently overseas, that specific seats can cost more, have a premium, you know what I mean? If you want to be like center row and stuff like that. Different movies might cost more depending on expected demand and stuff like that. So I guess this is a thing which is done in other places that they're hoping to adopt in the States. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't necessarily like it because it's again like one of the cool things about a theater, and I don't really like when you have to pick your seating either. Some of the new movie theaters, I kind of like the whole you got to get there early, camp out a bit. You know what I mean, you got. I like the bit of barbaric way of claiming your seats in a movie theater. I dig that. I really do. I think it's part of the experience of like you get the top row because you got there an hour early at a big film. You know what I mean? Or you have to sit there and suffer in the front row like a piece of shit that didn't buy tickets in advance
Bro, who
or get
sits
there in
top
time.
row? You want to be middle of everything. You don't want to be top.
But yeah, top rows no matter. Like you know how it is. The farther back you are, though, it's a little bit better. You want to be in the middle, but you don't want to be in the front row. But
No, no one wants the front
I
row.
digress.
Staring up like this for an entire 2 hours,
I
giving you a
don't.
headache.
I think what it does is it pushes more folks to streaming at home then and waiting for it just to be streamable. I think now you have to create a difference in a couple fronts, really. The quality of movies coming out, so it's worth going to the movies to see it. And having honestly just the theater releases only then to push that demand. So it's like, okay, yeah, definitely want to go because, for me, it's not bad. Okay, if I want to drop 30, 40, even $50 to go, see a movie, have a beer or two, you know what I mean? And it's, $25 for the ticket up front. I mean, it's like, if I get dinner or anything else, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know what the variable prices were. I didn't look at them. I'm just throwing a number out.
Like they're saying for the
But
Batman, for example, it's $1 more than other movies in the same theater. So it looks like
so
a
$15
dollar
you
increase.
figure. Okay. So $15, and then it's like, say I get popcorn or anything else. Either way, even if I didn't even get alcohol,
Tell me you
just,
live in a cheap part of the
popcorn
country
and
without
like
telling me you live
water.
in a
I
cheap
mean,
part
it's
of the
basically going
country.
to be $40 anyway, because popcorn's what, $10, $12 sometimes. So it's like, all right, if I, have a family, like, my brother's wife and kids, my brother, like, he talks about all the time of like, it costs him a fortune to go to the movies with the boys. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
like, I think it's funny, but like, it makes sense. You know what I mean? That's like $200-300 then. And it's
Well,
like, what's it worth? Plus you got to deal with them, you know what I mean? Stumbling over stuff, got to go piss in the middle of the movie. It's not enjoyable too. I mean, I could go on a
I
tangent
think
and just don't want to have
there's
kids, but
two main issues I have with this. One, I think it destroys what I currently think is an interesting and fair competition between movies, right? All movies in theaters are same price, so earnings and stuff like that, like I could go to literally any movie, I'm choosing one, and it makes for an easy comparison between movies because we can compare box office earnings to compare movie viewings and stuff like that. You don't have to look at individual sales, you can look at earnings because it's the same. Every movie ticket is being sold at the same price. You know what I mean? For each theater, I should say. So in some ways now this creates that sort of like, oh, well, did you get the markup basically? Do you get more money? It starts messing with the pricing plans. I think it comes back to what you said of pushing more people to streaming options and frankly pirating. You know what I mean? Like, let's be very honest. You keep going the route that they are with platform specific releases. If you begin introducing variable pricing in theaters that the titles you most want to see are more expensive than other things, I think you're absolutely creating a situation that's ripe for pirating to proliferate. Because who's going to want to pay for a million different subscriptions to see specific franchises or titles that they care about? And who's going to want to pay markups on the movies that they care about? I mean, yeah, I care and I want to support their franchise, but at the same time, like, at what point am I just being taken advantage of as a consumer and as a fan? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And not that I don't think they don't deserve to make the money that they get, because I absolutely believe in supporting content creators and everything else, but let's be realistic about the consequences these types of moves could have.
Takes the fun out of going to the movies, even though it's just $1 increases for that. It's just you don't want to have to sit there and think about how much is this seat going to cost me, and just the added stress of like, okay, I got to make sure I get middle row. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just
and I haven't been in the dating scene for a while now, so you tell me, because you're still a single man out there suffering. I always thought dinner and a movie was like a very classic, like, early on dates. It's not too expensive. It's reasonable. You get to spend some time together. Do you think that there's a chance with the way things are going with platform exclusives and now price hikes in theaters and everything else, that dinner and a movie, like the movie, isn't going to be such a common date idea?
No, I mean, you have the whole Netflix and chill joke and stuff too, but I think
Is that your dating model?
no, honestly, I normally don't go to the movies and don't go on date because it's 2 hours I'm not talking to the person I'm interested in talking to. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's more of like a second or third kind of thing because it's like you have some sort of established, maybe you see it like, first couple of dates, I actually want to get to know this said person, and hopefully they want to get to know my jackass personality. But,
yeah, no, I see why you're struggling now, because it seems like so much of the memes I see about dating these days is a lot of superficial conversations, like real quick stuff.
I don't know. I don't think it changes that. I think, I guess the way it does, because you think about American culture and, our parents and growing the movies and being old fan. Like, one of my favorite stories my dad ever told me, and, has told me, is first time he saw a 3D movie, right? Like, he waited, I saved his fucking, nickel up or dime, whatever the hell it was. It was a 3D movie. He was pumped, I mean, and it's this old 3D movie theater in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. And like, if you go by it now, it's just a shithole. It got turned out. It's just a beat up thing, man. But you could tell it's this massive building. You could see the theater in it, like see the basement. You're going down. My dad was pumped, man. He's just Cowboys and Indians, 3D. Like, holy shit. Can you a 3D movie? Like, this is crazy. And I don't forget, because he's like, you saw a bow and arrow, like an arrow coming at him in the screen, and like ducked down, started crying. He was like, F this. And like out of it. He didn't like it. He was like, this is not for me. It cracked me up, but like he was so.
Did he swear off all 3D movies after that?
No, it scared the shit out of him. Donnie Strebig don't like being played like that.
Oh man!
But no, my point is, it's like the excitement of going for the experience and doing that, and like, yeah, sure, he shit his pants as a kid, like seeing this movie, whatever. But it was a lifelong memory of like first 3D movie. It was this whole thing. I think with how it's setting up, it turns more into a planning rather than just a let's go do this. And there's always going to be that planning and like time, but like I think it takes away just some of that organic experience you have going to a movie, because it's one more thing you have to think about and plan around. And if it's going to be a big release and we have smaller releases because the streaming competition, and it's like you're telling me I have to sit there and map out what time I log on to get middle seats to see No Way Home. Like, that's not fun. It's annoying,
Yeah, like already going to concerts and stuff like that is an unfun experience if you really want to go get good seats and not pay scalper rates and everything else. And I mention this in part because AMC's CEO Adam Aaron, I don't know how you say his last name. Aron. There's not a double A. But the man's there talking about mergers and acquisitions, potential future things they could do to branch out besides just movies, and talking about ticket sales and stuff like that. And he's even mentioning like how their expertise could apply in certain markets like concert venues and things like that. And like, God, I really don't want to have that experience come to movies. You know what I mean? I like what it is currently. I like being able to go in. It's a flat rate. I can go, I can find something I want to watch. I don't need to like spend a lot of time figuring out, the plan to get there to get the good seats and everything else. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll say I'm neutral on the change overall because I do believe in supporting your franchises. So
are you going to go see the Batman in the movie theater regardless?
In a theater this weekend? No, I'll tell you straight up, it's not going to happen because I've already got plans visiting friends out of state. so I'm going to be traveling and not available for movie theaters. Am I going to
That's
see it
weird,
though
man.
before it
That's
goes
weird
out of
because
theaters?
this guy lives out of state and you don't visit me. Wow.
Wow,
There you have
it's
it,
like you
folks.
don't
End of
live.
show.
It's
Double D
like,
doesn't visit me.
it's like you don't live in the next state over, like a neighboring state that I can just drive to in an hour and change.
Yeah.
uh,
Touche.
yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. I think you play more Overwatch than I do, don't you?
Not lately, but overall, yes.
Overall. So tell me what's going on with Overwatch.
Basically, we had a pro team basically get a little pissy pants about Overwatch 2 and the beta. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It was a community manager thing and all that. Community manager basically had to digress the conversation down because players were clamoring and getting upset and demanding kind of know where Overwatch beta 2 is at. Mainly because the beta was teased as coming out this month. It's been teased the last couple of times. Overwatch has come out with announcements going back to the Zodiac skins and everything else. They said a playable beta was going to be coming out early March. Here we are, early March, still no word. My big thing is, are you even excited about Overwatch 2? Do you even think the beta, even if it comes out tomorrow, is going to be able to save and salvage this game?
No. I'll be straight. I don't think, first of all, I don't think the competitive scene is strong enough now to support a good esports scene, unfortunately. Like, it's definitely, there is one. I'm not trying to say not, but there's been content drip in a very bad way. And Blizzard's kind of known for this in terms of other franchises. WoW is an easy one to cherry pick here as an example of just really releasing content on a slow timeline that people are grinding the same raids and the same encounters again and again and again to the point that, like, it's mind-numbingly boring. You know what I mean? Like, you just want something new. When's the last Overwatch hero release? When did we get a new hero? When did we get like a real change in mechanics or a new map or something like that would change the experience in a fundamental way other than, oh, you've got different teammates? You know what I mean?
Echo
Like,
was the last one, and that was had to be almost 2 years ago.
It's been a minute, right? It's been a real minute.
I think I think it had to be maybe a little under. It's close to 2 years. Yeah.
I'd have to look up to be sure on the exact number, but I think that's part of where the frustration comes with Overwatch 2 is, like, guys, like, I think fans were patient because the idea was, we understand you're working on developing Overwatch 2, so you don't need to give as much love to the base game here because we want a good second installment. But then that's been dragging forever. The original game hasn't been getting much love. It kind of feels like the game itself has largely been abandoned. I feel like if I was a bigger fan of this franchise, I would feel abandoned basically by the developer of, like, you've teased me with this, I'm blue ball and I want it, give me something.
Yeah.
And it's always next month, next time, next whatever, like, I don't even, what's the reason? Do they even have a reason why it's taking this long to get their shit together?
No, and I think the more upsetting part about it is what we've seen from Overwatch 2 is, I think, one new hero, and it's basically just, game mechanics and changing things around to hero boosts, like Reinhardt's projectile.
Yeah, his upper slash or whatever
damage
he does.
and all that. But they teased in the beta too of, like, showing some of these changes then the next update with the beta. So it's kind of, again, like, why couldn't you have done that already? It's basically minor stuff to see how the gameplay is going to be. So it's, again, like, why are we waiting this long? At least with WoW, and again, you know more about WoW and everything else, but from outsider perspective there, you're talking about all new world building and, new mission chains, all that. There's a little bit more going into it, and a few more layers going into it than basically Overwatch 2 is essentially just DLC from.
Well, I don't even know, because I thought they were talking about.
I don't see a new game with it.
I don't even know. Right? Like, is because, like, they even, like, announced a new hero. So I actually did bring up the release schedule. Last hero release was Echo in April of 2020. So it has been almost a full 2 years since our last hero release. Since then, there hasn't been anything else going on. And they announced in 2019 Sojourn as a new hero that would release with Overwatch 2. So they've even announced one of their new characters, and it's been almost 3 years. It's been 2.5 years, right? Like, how long are we just going to have to wait for this? I don't know. It's terrible. This is, for me, I think, our biggest story of the day, and the thing that brings me the most joy is that we have a new Pokemon game has been announced. The trailer has dropped for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. We've got to see some gameplay footage in there. We got to see the new starters. Frankly, the starters look pretty classic to me. You know, they're not. Look, some of the new age type shit really vibed with me the wrong way. These look very classic to me. I'm excited about it. I guess the question is, do we think that this is the right time to release a new game? Pokemon Legends Arceus came out not that long ago. Very well received. Very well received. Has it had its chance to shine and stuff, or are we coming out with something too quickly afterward?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like more the formulaic Pokemon, so there's always going to be fans that want that. The timing is definitely strange, I'll be honest with you. It's kind of like, why would you even have it compete? Now you have kind of the same fan base competing for the same game, and unless people really didn't put Atreus down, then they're probably still playing it. They didn't finish it. So it's like, why not? It seemed like that game had a lot of room for DLC, expansions, cleaning things up too, with the whole graphic issues and whatnot as well. So it is quite surprising. I will say this though, Generation 9, whatever, I'm still original 151 guy. You know more about the themes behind it all, but like,
Yeah.
I was thinking about it when I was watching the trailer, then the teaser. Give me old man Ash. Give me like a fucked up, still suffering Pokemon trainer. Like enough of this like teenage kid, you know what I mean? Like that's a half orphan that mom is basically just like, go out there with these wild animals and have yourself some fun and not die. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, have you seen any of the there's like fan made maths essentially where they like looked at the anime to calculate how many days Ash has been on his adventure, and like I forget what they like eventually resolved it to, but they're like, this kid is an immortal because there's no way he should be the age he appears to be, right? Because there's been too many episodes and like time for travel, like it doesn't add up essentially. Like the kid is like should be older than he really is.
No, it's crazy, but I would like to see that of like a trainer that's failed, and even if you stick with the same storyline of like you have your 3, whatever, you can pick it, do a little time capsule, whatever to speed it up. But it's kind of like you keep losing. You've been suffering. You haven't won the championship. I mean, maybe Pokemon have a lifespan too, to where like there's only a few left.
I mean,
so
they
like
do.
That's a new element in the game.
They do.
I
That's
want a dark
thing.
kind of Pokemon game of grittiness.
Jesus,
and stuff,
I know.
like,
where is this coming from?
You know, just show kind of this. It's the same thing over and over again. So now it's like it's too happy and fun. I've seen this thing 9 different generations.
I mean, so
18 if you count the doubles.
We have talked about on here before, I guess, like the conversation of derivative games or money grabs, you know what I mean? And what aspects of Pokemon, I guess, do you think are iconic to the franchise and should stick around? And what aspects do you think are up for discussion or should be revisited and kind of changed? So darker themes, maybe?
I think turn-based battle system, completely fine with that. And that's a huge element to it. I think that's fine. I'm cool with it. I know that's not for everybody, but to me, that's Pokemon's Final
pretty core
Fantasy.
to the system. Kind of the Final Fantasy as well. Yep, I was going to say.
I'm fine with the 3. Does it have to be fire, water, and grass?
Yes.
I'm okay with it.
All things in balance.
I wouldn't mind if they switched it up, still kept the balance to where, strengths and weaknesses, but maybe switch it up. But again, not married to it staying the same. I think keeping the 3, I think that works. And I think the world building in general, I think you should be able to go to different trainers whenever you want and the world not be locked off. I think you should be able to just travel and go.
Well, and so
each one's pretty linear and it's frustrating. You have your side missions to go back, this or that, if Pokemon's to unlock, especially the legendary stuff. But it'd be cool if you really could just go with the trainers whenever, get your ass kicked, figure it out, and that's why I think an older tone to Pokemon, I think would be cool. I really do. I think that the grittiness, I think, could add a layer that would keep a fan like myself that I'm not buying Scarlet and Violet. I might even get it for my nephews. I might be like, you know what? I don't like it that much. Like, you're not getting it because I don't want you to play this trash. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, because there's definitely some things, right? Like, they've confirmed this is open world as well. So they've committed to that as being a franchise change from Arceus. It was well received. I think it was a good move. I still think they need to update the graphics because it's very easy to make the Breath of the Wild comparisons, which is an older game at this point. And I still think looks better than what they've done here. I don't buy the hardware arguments essentially that are being made about that. And like the starters, for example, like you're talking about, like they should change that up. I kind of like what they do with it because the fire starters are all from the Chinese zodiac, for example. The grass starters are meant to show evolution on their own because you started with like dinosaurs and now we have a mammalian starter. The waters are always, even though they're water, they're always like semi-aquatic animals, ducks, turtles, things like that like they don't actually live in water, like Magikarp, Gyarados, like those are fully aquatic animals, right? But never the starters for whatever reason. It's just one of the things they do. And it means that there has to be like a hard end to this at some point too, right? Like this is Gen 9 coming out. Chinese Zodiac, there are 12 things. That is it, right? Like there are 12 things in the Chinese Zodiac. You're done. And after that, what are they going to do with the fire starters? You know what I mean? So like maybe you get your wish in 3 more generations, I guess, and they have to go rogue on this whole thing and rethink what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, and I get it. It's kind of like the new Star Wars movies and stuff. You try to get the younger generation interested in some old stuff. I don't know. It's just,
well,
you
I
gonna
guess
buy it?
I'm doing more research. Well, because I was having a thought as we were having this conversation. I was looking at the new fire starter, Fuecoco.
Every time you say that, I'm thinking Prodigy, fire starter.
No, I looked, and if you look at it, it looks like this like little like lizardy type thing, and I'm like, didn't they already do dragon with Charmander? Like, what is this supposed to be in the Zodiac? And I'm doing more looking. It seems like they've given up on it. It seems like they've departed from the Zodiac with this. I don't know how to feel about that, because I don't know if maybe its final evolution is going to get back to it, but like it's supposed to be a fire crocodile.
That's terrifying.
Crocodile, where does that fit in the Zodiac? I guess the closest thing
I
might
don't
be
think
a
it does.
snake. Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
reptile, but then you can make the case for a dragon too. But
Yeah.
also too, I didn't like. I don't know. The Mega Evolves too. I didn't really care for as that addition to the game. I
Yeah,
thought
and I
that was
gotta
kind of
say,
overkill.
I think one of the issues the franchise has is they keep introducing basically like a gimmick where it's like the Mega Evolutions. They introduced Z moves were a thing for a while. They keep throwing in
Yeah.
like these different things, and they're there for a generation and then get completely discarded and disappear. Which is like, maybe these aren't all worth throwing away. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's some mechanics here that are worth having.
I'm telling you, I think if they added a single KO, okay, if like my Pokemon was one KO and then I go to the Pokemon hospital, it's like, yo, your Pokemon got fucked up. Like it's dead. There's no
They,
way
they will
bring it
never
back.
do that.
It's dead.
Canonically,
One
they do
KO,
not kill.
it's gone. Yeah, I mean, I think that even adding
You
that, I
gotta
think
remember,
would be
this is
cool.
an E game designed, like E rating designed for like freaking 10-year-olds.
There's
Like
9 generations. The kids got 9 fucking generations of games they can play. You know, give me one just like R-rated Pokemon
so
game, you know?
is your argument essentially like, oh, if you want like a E experience, go back to Gen 1 and then you can grow up with the franchises basically?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I'm just saying, for me to pick it back up, that's what I need. I mean, I don't think they care about what I think and this single gamer, but I think for the old generation, yeah, you can't just keep pulling in nostalgia, especially putting out 2 Pokemon games in the span of less than 2 months.
Yeah.
You gotta give something a variation, and Atreus has definitely set up foundation with the open world.
Arceus? Why do you keep saying
Arceus,
Atreus?
sorry, Atreus. Yeah, I'm all over names today.
Oh,
man.
yeah, dude.
You know, this is why I got to like, right after work, I had to like actually eat, and like I'm just my energy level and my brain cells are not firing all cylinders. I'm just like I'm on the downturn when we record,
know.
man. I'm just like I need to recharge before episode, man. So Arceus put the foundation in there. And I think, yes, you could do a lot more with that to make it more mature and compete with other open world games like, Elden Ring, Red Dead, all that. But I still think there needs to be something different with the gameplay that makes it more challenging. Pokemon hasn't really ever been a challenging game. It's a grinder, traditional RPG. You just kind of keep, battling, you level up. But for the most part, most of the games, the linear progress, even too, you might have a trainer 1 or 2 that is difficult, is a challenge, but it's not like, boom, a dam that you can't get past, you can't break.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot. You know what I mean? So I think you need to change. I think like a 1 KO system to where your Pokemon really gets fucked up, like consequences. You know what I mean?
Well, so you're talking about, right? Like you're talking about what people essentially do in fan games, literally, right? Like Nuzlocking in terms of rules around what you can catch and Pokemon you can use. You don't get to catch infinitely. You're talking about like, I forget what the term is, but like Iron Manning, essentially that like when a Pokemon dies, and same thing like a Nuzlocke run, when a Pokemon dies or faints once, it's gone. You do not get to resurrect it. So you're locked into limited catches and limited uses of your Pokemon, which is basically giving yourselves limited lives functionally to get through things.
It
So
makes
people,
catching Pokemon
yeah,
more important too. Of who are you
people put
catching?
these
Who like
restrictions on themselves, and there's modded games like hacked ROMs and stuff that have like leveled up Pokemon essentially that like depending on the level of your party, the opposing trainer will level up to a similar amount, and that means the Pokemon will evolve and stuff automatically and get those increases in stats and moves and blah blah blah. So that stuff exists in fan made content, but Game Freaks traditionally, like Nintendo especially, has been very anti that, right? Like fan made content or anything that infringes on their IP, they're very quick to cut that off and cease and desist and take down notices and stuff like that, even in like fan made reviews, content that normally some publishers even encourage because it drives discussion, drives views, and drives sales by talking about how great something is. They do not mess around. So I guess what I'm saying is like I don't think they're going to make those moves because if they wanted that experience, they could have just kind of let it exist. It's a different niche. You're right. It's a different field. It's a different niche. Things are out there, but Nintendo has not been content in the past. Let them just exist. If they want to stick with the kind of their tried and true format, let them. And if people want to produce other things with different restrictions like you're talking about that basically make the game more difficult or challenging for older players who have literally grown up with the franchise as we have, you know, Nintendo could just kind of like let it be. Let it be.
yeah.
I don't know.
Before we end,
Before we
give
end.
me your yeah. That was that. We have another topic.
No, we don't.
Okay, yeah. So no, I mean, unless you got more to go,
No.
what I wanted to ask though was
Tell
who's
me.
your six? Like you rolling with? Who's your team? Who's your squad?
This is a tough question, man. Because I am not privy. I have not kept up with a lot of the gens. I'll be honest. I think the last one I actually played was Silver and Gold. I started a Black and White playthrough. Let's see. Uh, Bulbasaur, Venusaur was the first Pokemon I ever took. I will always have him in every lineup I possibly can. No questions
Trash
asked.
lineup already.
You know what? I mean, if I wanted a bomb ass lineup, I could just do that, right? Like I can absolutely just stack my thing with legendaries or whatever the hell. But Bulbasaur has a special place in my heart. Sandslash, for whatever reason, has a special place in my heart. Tyranitar has a special place in my heart. Always a bitch to level him up specifically. Gyarados is a staple that I can never pass up when he's around. I just love the story with Magikarp and his uselessness with Splash. And I know I'm doing a lot of like Gen 1s here because like I said, that's really where I'm at. Trying to think who would I take. Actually, give me a minute. Who do you think would your six be? Because I'm pretty sure I actually put together a
I don't
wish
think my
list.
six is changing, but I think I think we might have talked about this too in our early episodes too. So anybody that remembers, if there's a clip out there, by all means, do compare our list. Like if we already had this conversation, because I'm curious too. If I want to think we had a conversation. Maybe it wasn't a full six, but I think we did have a Pokemon conversation one of the first episodes. Or I just imagined this in my brain. I don't know.
Are you just the psychosis is really?
I'm sure we have in the course of our friendship, but on record, I could have sworn we did. For me, it's always been the same. I'm a ghost Pokemon, so Haunter and Gengar both always make my lineup. Those are my two favorite Pokemons. I will not.
What, Haunter, Gengar? They're the same Pokemon.
Yeah.
like that's why are you saying this like they're different
but
things?
I mean, we're going Pokemon.
They're the same
Stadium,
evolutionary
like,
line.
It's like I'm keeping them both in my lineup. You know what I mean? Are you limiting me to just a single one with evolutions?
Yeah, why would you keep a Haunter and a Gengar? The fuck is that?
Because I like them both. They're both a lot of fun. You ever talk to them? They're cool, man.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So, Haunter, Gengar will be my one. The only dude with the championship belt, of course, Machamp. Why would he not be on there? Again, the only dude that's actual king, Nido King, also on there. Is when it gets a little dicey then. Because then it's like, I gotta think about actual balance, not just the ones I like. I still like electricity. Electro usually is where I go with that. I do like the self-destruct. I like the chaotic kind of gameplay then of like, all right, you may get me beat. I'm still taking you down with me. And usually that's somebody's better Pokemon. So that's always clutch for me. I'm willing to sacrifice bases an angry Pokeball. As far as the new gen guys, there's not many I really would. There's fringe guys there, like Lucario. Am I saying it right?
Lucario.
He's on a fringe for me.
He's solid. I like him a lot, actually.
Drift Balloon
He's
as well is on the fringe for me. But if I have to pick final two spots, then I'm probably gonna go Hitmonlee and Growlithe.
Huh.
Yeah,
I can definitely
for the
get behind
balance at the
Growlithe
end.
and Arcanine because like the legendary dogs, like Arcanine was meant to be a legendary Pokemon, but they went with the birds that gen. So you know what I mean? Like he's a very solid contender all around. It's crazy going through
Oh
your
shit! I'm sorry. No, I'm pulling Growlithe out. How did I even forget? Tentacruel. He's in there.
Tentacruel.
Yeah. Tentacruel. Toxic poison? Absolutely. Yeah. I know it makes my lineup like weaker, but that's my dude, man. Can't believe I disrespected him like that.
Tentacruel. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah. He's tentacles and they're
I
cruel.
would
That's his name.
love to think that you're less shitty at this game.
Wow. That's a championship lineup right there. Okay.
Look,
You look
like if we were seriously gonna put together. So first of all, I did find a document I made in 2018 of my favorite Pokemon. I will read you the
Jesus.
top 6 off of this list.
Did you make this by yourself?
I must have at some point in my life. I made a list of my top 20 favorite Pokemon. I have no idea why. This is coming from 4 years ago. Me, it's Bulbasaur is number 1, and not it's Bulbasaur, Charizard, Beedrill, Pidgeot, Sandslash, and Ninetales are my top 6. Right off.
Ninetales legit.
Right
That's
off,
legit.
right there. Arcanine slipped in for me at number 8. I think Gyarados was 16th back then, so he's definitely got a bump up in my heart since. And yeah, you know, other ones. Kingler. How did I forget to mention Kingler? I actually absolutely adored Kingler as well. Ranked 13th 4 years ago in my life. I forgot one of my favorite newest ones completely because they're so damn good is Swampert. You know who Swampert is?
No.
He's
I feel like that's what I get when it's hot out and I'm walking around a lot.
He's the final evolution of the water starter in Emerald, I want to say. And his typing and his moveset is insane. He's what is it, ground water combination, and so he gets.
Yeah, I feel like all the new generations, if you go pound for pound, I feel like pretty much all the new generations beat out like our original 151.
I mean, Swampert has no weaknesses, right? Like water and ground combined means that he hits everything at least neutrally, if not, you know, with an effective something on top of it. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't. I guess his weakness is fucking grass. Effectively, he takes double damage from grass, but then can also learn moves that will deal double damage to grass. So like,
that's ridiculous.
Like I said, it goes even with everything. Swampert's a fucking beast of a starter. Period.
So I feel like once they added the metal stuff in, it kind of made all the next gen guys an OP because it's like even Lucario, he's like fighting but has steel. So then it's like whatever, Lucario, you know.
Words are really not your friend today.
They are not. No. Yeah.
I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at this list I must have put together. I was preparing for an Emerald playthrough.
Who's the rest then? You got to what was that, 12, 14?
I mean, so I guess the other ones.
There's 20, right?
There's 20. Yeah. Do you want the whole thing? You want the rundown?
Yeah, I want the whole thing. Yeah. I mean,
all right. So after Ninetales, number 7 is Parasect, Arcanine, Alakazam, Rapidash, Farfetch'd, Dugong, Kingler, Chansey, Scyther, Gyarados, Kabutops, Snorlax, Articuno, and Dragonair rounding out number 20.
That's pretty solid though. You have 2 Pokemon on there that I would, if Pokemon were real, I would never go outside. Scyther and Beedrill. I would never leave my house if Pokemon were real and they existed. I'd be terrified, dude. A 3 foot tall Beedrill. He's 3 foot tall. Okay, that's basically my nephew. Okay, that's basically more than half as tall as I am. If a bee with fucking drills came at me at that size, I would be like, "What the heck?" You know what I mean? Like we're talking about going on a date to the movies. If
murder hornets exist already and scare the hell out of me. I don't need worse than murder hornets.
I would be terrified. You know what I mean? I'd be taking my chick out, but hey, this is a nice, beautiful day out, and a freaking swarm of Beedrills comes at me. Like, what do you do?
What's the one that walks away with that steals children?
Like a polite Cypher would be terrifying. Like he's trying to like talk to you with his hands, and he's just
Edward Scissorhands going on right there,
man. Yeah, terrifying, dude. And he's like 4 foot tall or something. It's crazy.
Well, you mentioned that you like Drifloon, right?
Around, Onyx comes up on the ground. Like, what an asshole.
Didn't you say you like Drifloon though?
Drifloon, yeah. And he's like Captain Emo, Death Balloon, yeah.
He steals kids. Like his whole thing is like he's fucking like it with the red balloon, right? Like comes over,
I mean, I don't know,
kids
man.
take him, and then he like drifts off with them. He goes
like, I'm upset that he takes kids. Like, okay, are they bad kids? Like, get him out of here.
I don't understand. Don't sting me, but steal the kids. You got your mask running around, carrying around faces of its dead, masks of its dead face and stuff like that, which implies something weird. Like there's all kinds of weird, creepy Pokemon. I don't know.
There is.
The whole world would be crazy if that was real. But anyway, we have waxed very long on this topic. Give you all the kudos for the editing you're going to have to do on this. As always, thank you for joining us. Please leave your thoughts and comments. We will take any feedback you have to offer. Your starting lineup or your top 6, I guess, across the generations would be cool to see how that compares. And
I would love to hear that from fans.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. And what you like to see in Pokemon, because obviously Neil's looking for things to be more adult. I kind of think they target this to the kids, and I don't know how much 30-something-year-olds' opinions matter when it comes to what we're selling to 10-year-olds. But hey, what do I know? Thanks for coming, and we'll see you again next week.